किव जयो जयो गौरचंदेर आरती के शोभा यो जयो गौरचंदेर आरती के शोभा जानावी तातावाने जग मान लो बाया एंड में तातावाने जग मान लो बा की बादाखी नैनीताय चांद बामे गदाधारा की नैनीताय चांद बामे गदाधारा की बदाखी नैनीताय चांद बामे गदाधारा की नैनीताय चांद सिंह बामे गदाधारा निकाते अद्वैता श्रीनी वास छत्रधारा निकाते अद्वैता श्रीनी वास छत्रधारा की बबोशी याचे गौराचान रत्न सिंहासने की बबोशी याचे गौराचान रत्न सिंहासने आरती कोरे ना ब्रह्मा आदि देवगाने आरती कोरे ना ब्रह्मा आदि देवगाने कि बनर हरि आदि कोरी चामर दुलाया हरि आदि कोरी चामर दुलाया कि बनर हरि आदि कोरी चामर दुलाया आदि कोरी चामर दुलाया संजया मुकुंद वासु घोष आदि गाया संजया मुकुंद वासु आदि गाया की बशंका बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताला बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताला कि बशंका बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताला बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताला माधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला माधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला शंका बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे मधुर माधुर बाजे शंका जे घंटा बाजे बाजे मधुर माधुर बाजे शंका बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर मधुर माधुर बाजे बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे शंका बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे हो माधुर 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 बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे हो शंका बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे शंका घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे माधुर माधुर होय माधुर 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 बाजे माधुर माधुर हो गौरंगेरा रति के शोभा जग जन मान लोबा गौरंगेरा रति के शोभा जग जन मान लोबा गेरा रति के शोभा जग जन मान लोबा जग जन मान लोबा जग मान लोबा जग जन मान लोबा जग मान हो जय गौरा निताय जय गौरा निताय गौरा निताय जय गौरा निताय ओ जय गौरा चंदेर जय गौरा चंदेर जय गौरा चंदेर जय गौरा चंदेर हो जय गौरा चंदेर जय गौरा चंदेर जय गौरा चंदेर जय गौरा चंदेर चंदेर जय गौरा चंदेर जय गौरा चंदेर जय गौरा चंदेर कि बहू कोटि चंद्रजीनी वदन उज्ज्वला बहु वदन उज्ज्वला कि बहु कोटि चंद्रजीनी वदन उज्ज्वला कोटि चंद्रजीनी वदन उज्ज्वला गला देसे बनमाला कोरे जलमाला गला देसे बनमाला कोरे जलमाला कि शिवा शुका नारदा प्रेमे गदा गदा शुका नारदा प्रेमे गदा गदा कि शिवा शुका नारदा प्रेमे गदा गदा नारदा प्रेमे गदा गदा भक्ति विनोदा देखे गौरा रसंपदा भक्ति विनोदा पदा भक्ति विनोदा देखे गौरारा संपदा भक्ति विनोदा देखे गौरारा संपदा कि भजयो जयो गौरचंदेर अतिक शोभा जयो जयो गौरचंदेर आरतिक शोभा जानावी तातावाने जगमन लोभा जानावी तातावाने जगमन लोभा जानावी तातावाने जगमन लोभा जानावी तातावाने मन लोभा नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामीति नामिने नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चादेशतारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे O Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, O Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, O Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, O Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Govinda bolo, Hari Gopal bolo, Govinda bolo, Gopal bolo, Govinda bolo, Hari Gopal bolo, bolo bolo. बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो, गोविंद 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 बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो, गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो, राधा रमन हरि गोविंद बोलो, राधा रमन हरि गोविंद बोलो, राधे राधे बोलो, कृष्णा कृष्णा बोलो, राधे राधे बोलो, कृष्णा बोलो, कृष्णा कृष्णा बोलो, राधे राधे बोलो, कृष्णा बोलो, राधे राधे बोलो, हो राधे राधे बोलो, कृष्णा कृष्णा बोलो, बोलो बोलो बोलो, कृष्णा कृष्णा बोलो, हो राधे राधे बोलो, कृष्णा कृष्णा बोलो, राधे बोलो, कृष्णा कृष्णा बोलो, हो राधा रमन हरि गोविंद बोलो, राधा रमन हरि गोविंद बोलो, हो राधा रमन हरि गोविंद बोलो, राधा रमन हरि गोविंद बोल, राधा रमन हरि गोविंद बोलो, राधा हरि गोविंद, नित्य गौरा हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, नित्य गौरा हरि बोल, नित्य गौरा हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, नित्य गौरा हरि बोल, जय राधा नील माधव, राधा नील माधव श्री राधे, राधा नील माधव, राधा नील माधव श्री राधे, हो जय राधा नील माधव, राधा नील माधव श्री राधे, राधा नील माधव श्री राधे, ओ जय राधे, जय राधे, ओ जय राधे, जय श्री राधे, राधे जय राधे, जय राधे, जय श्री राधे, हो जय राधे, जय राधे, जय राधे, जय श्री राधे, जय राधे, जय राधे, जय राधे, जय श्री राधे, हो जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद. Everyone please bow down. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramsa Parivrajacharya Shutra Shri Srimad His Divine Geshla A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramsa Parivrajacharya Shutra Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की. श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपा गोपीनाथ श्यामा कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की. वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा धाम की, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा माई यमुना माई की, तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Staya. Namaste Saraswati Gauranga.
Namaste Narasingha. Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Praladadadayine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Ito narsimo parato narsimo. Yato yato yami tato narsimo. Bahir narsimo hridaye narsimo. Narasimha adima sharanama prapadye. Tavakara kamalavare nakam adbhuta shingam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringa. Keshavadrita narari rupa jaya jagadisha hare. Jaya jagadisha hare. Jaya jagadisha hare. Jaya Keshavadita Nari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Narsingadev Jaya Narsingadev Narsingadev Jaya Narsingadev. Jaya Narsingadev Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadrama Jaya Sudarshan Chakra. Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadrama Jaya Sudarshan Chakra. Jaya Tulsi Maharani Jaya Rinda Devi Jaya Tulsi Maharani Jaya Rinda Devi. जय सीताराम जय लक्ष्मण हनुमान जय सीताराम जय लक्ष्मण हनुमान सीताराम जय लक्ष्मण हनुमान जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा शिला प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल विघ्नहर्ता श्री भगवान की जय जय भक्त प्रहलाद की जय प्रहलाद की जय
नारद मुनि बजाए बिना
यहाँ तो प्रभु जी उतनी बनाएंगे मैडम
क्या करेंगे प्रभु जी भी जम बजाए कहाँ आता है बिना
इसको लग गया है माता जी को चोट लग जाएगी
अरे अर्जुन दर्शन करने चलेगा ना नारद मुनि बजाए बिना है क्या अरे बजाओ यहाँ बजाओ अरे बजाओ ना अरे जाए नहीं ना अभी लिरिक्स निकाल लो लिरिक्स नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नाचे नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे नाम अमानी उदित हया भक्त गीत सामे नाम मानी उदित हया भक्त गीत सामे नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे आमिया धारा बारी से गाना श्रवण युगले गिया आमिया धारा बारी से गाना श्रवण युगले गिया भक्त जना सगने नाचे बोरिया अपनाहिया भक्त जना सगने नाचे बोरिया अपनाहिया नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे हरे कृष्णा ना कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Couldn't finish it, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Just touch it to my head. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Gaura Premanandi Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Bolo, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi, Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. So, thank you very much for being here tonight. The purpose of having a temple is to be able to learn who is God. And of course, we know God is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And also how to serve God. And that, of course, is through devotional service. And on top of that, how to spread the glories of God to others. That's called Sankirtan. So tonight I want to speak a little bit about the what you would call difficulties with Hinduism, because there are things that have sort of become part of Hinduism that has made its ability to achieve the actual goal of spiritual life difficult. Although Hinduism has a long history, but over the time, things have crept into its practice that have undermined its original purpose. So what is the original purpose? That is to help people go back to Godhead. So what are those things that have crept into Hinduism that have, in one way or other, subverted this purpose? And that purpose is, as I said, to help people go back to Godhead. Going back to Godhead means that you have an eternal soul. You have a temporary body that covers it, but the real purpose of spiritual education is to understand the existence of your eternal soul and to not be fooled by the bodily covering. and not be attached to the body. One should maintain the body, but not be attached to sense gratification of the body, rather than uh, be more concerned about the soul, which is eternal and spiritual, and therefore engage in spiritual activities by which you can eventually remember God at the moment of death and go back to Godhead. This is the whole program. But there are things that have crept into Hinduism that subvert this real goal. And I'm going to discuss them now. The first thing is called Mayavad philosophy, or impersonalism, or as we say in Sanskrit, Kevala Advaita concept, which means absolute oneness. And the cancel culture of this impersonalism, or the Kevala Advaita concept. Kevala Advaita means absolute oneness. Well, the whole idea of Kevala Advaita is that the individual identity is actually false. And therefore, one must, in one way or other, renounce their individuality in order to be liberated into some kind of homogeneous oneness. And therefore, they do that by meditation. And the more you meditate, the more you're not involved in activities. You take your mind away from, mundane things, and eventually, the hope is that you merge into the oneness called Brahman. Well, this is actually a false philosophy. The individuality of the soul is eternal. It cannot be canceled. Although you can try to cancel it through meditation, through severe austerities and things like that. But the real nature of a human being is to be active and engaged in devotional service, and eventually develop love for Radha and Krishna and go back to Godhead. It's not to deny the existence of your unique soul and your individuality, and in other words, that is what the Mayavadis or impersonalists try to do. That's why they're called impersonalist or Mayavadi. Mayavadi in Sanskrit means they're worshiping something that is false. And what is false? The attempt to deny the existence of an individual, unique soul, and then to try and merge into what they call Brahman, or the universal soul. So this type of Kevala Advaita philosophy is actually the quintessential cancel culture of impersonalism. What does that mean exactly? Well, the Mayavadi, the person who falsely identifies with this cancel culture, it's that in order to achieve this so-called oneness, one has to cancel everything. So the Mayavadis, they cancel the existence of the material world. They cancel the existence of individuality. They cancel the existence of the spiritual world. And basically they're canceling everything in order to merge into some kind of homogeneous oneness called Brahman. Actually, that's not the real definition of Brahman, but that's their conception of it. So this type of philosophy makes one, let's say, irresponsible in a way, because the goal of life is not to cancel your individuality, not to deny the individuality of others, but to engage in devotional service for the supreme couple, Radha and Krishna, who are eternal individuals. We're also an eternal individual. But trying to deny that and to merge into some kind of impersonal oneness is antithetical. It's not who we actually are. It's not really the purpose of life. So there are many different aspects of this impersonal philosophy, but the main thing is denying that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, denying that we have a unique individuality that is eternal, and denying the fact that there is such a thing as a spiritual world that is in which there are innumerable number of living entities who are liberated from the cycle of birth and death. So they deny the existence of the spiritual world. They deny the existence of the material world. They call the material world an illusion. So basically the Mayavadis are the number one cancel culture people. And their goal is to achieve this type of, let's say, elite oneness, and deny even their own individuality in order to merge into some kind of homogeneous oneness, which they call Brahman. This has ruined Vedic Dharma, because basically it makes one irresponsible and atheistic. When a person is atheistic, they deny the existence of God or Krishna. And when you become, let's say, a Mayavadi, you deny also your own existence as an individual, you see. So it's very, very, let's say, dangerous type of philosophy that leads to a dead end. So this is one aspect of Hinduism that has, in many ways, destroyed its ability to help people go back to Godhead. When you have a false concept of what is the final destination that you're trying to achieve through whatever spiritual practices you're doing, then you've made a mistake, and you're not going to reach that final, let's say, liberation from the cycle of birth and death and going back to Godhead as a person. They don't believe, the Mayavadis do not believe that there's an individual soul. They believe there's one soul, they call it Brahman, and that by denying your own individuality through severe austerity and long-term meditation, somehow or other, you merge into this spiritual light or spiritual domain where there's oneness. So that is one aspect that has, in many ways, destroyed the real purpose of Krishna consciousness. When we talk about Hinduism, is there a difference between Hinduism and Krishna consciousness? Well, most people say no, it's the original religion of India, but that's not a fact, actually. The original culture of India was Krishna consciousness, where you believe in the eternality of the individual soul. You believe that there is a spiritual world called Vaikuntha. You believe that existence in the material world is a fallen situation, but one can be freed from it by practicing the principles of Sanatana Dharma, engaging in devotional service and chanting the holy names of the Lord, meditating on the transcendental form of Radha and Krishna, and so forth. So the Mayavadis, or the Maya means illusion, and Mayavadi, Vadi means one who is worshiping something illusory. They reject, oftentimes, the worship of the deities. They reject the existence of the eternal existence of jivas, or living entities. We are jivas. You're a jiva. I'm a jiva. They say that this individuality is not eternal, and it has to be rejected. And the way to reject it is through, as I said, severe austerities and meditation and so forth. Okay, so this is called Kevala Advaita, or absolute oneness. That is, they believe that there's only one soul. You can call it Brahman, or you can call it the Kevala Advaita. And by denying our individuality and seeking to merge into that oneness is the goal of the Mayavadi philosophy. And it's a false philosophy. It denies the what you would call diversity that's in this world, and therefore it is the ultimate cancel culture philosophy. It denies the existence of the spiritual world. It denies the existence of the individual soul. It denies the existence of the ability to engage in spiritual activities such as Sankirtan, such as studying the Vedas and so forth, in order to merge into this so-called oneness. So that has had one very severe, let's say, influence on the practice of Hinduism. Of course, we have to also understand the real name of the religion in India is Varnashram Dharma. It's not Hinduism. Hinduism was coined by the Muslims. They identified the existence of people living on the other side of the Sindh River, but because they couldn't say Sindh exactly, they said Hind, and that gave birth to the name Hindu. So even the name Hindu is the wrong, let's say, name of Bharat. The actual name of the religion of the people that live in India is Varnashram Dharma. So Varnashram Dharma means Dharma, the practice of spiritual life, in which there are 4 categories: Brahmanas and Vaishyas and Sudras, etc., the different castes. But these castes are not based on birth. That's another thing that crept into the practice of Hinduism that's destroying it. the caste system, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras, is based on your quality and activity, not your quality and birth. So there are a lot of mistakes that have been made over time, and because of that, Hinduism has been damaged by it. First of all, the actual name is Varnashram Dharma. It's not Hinduism. Secondly, the idea of the Varnas, in other words, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, is not based on birth, but on the activity that one performs, and it's not based on birth, let's put it like that. Whereas today, the Hindus are basing birth and activity, but actually it's the activity and the let's say the dedication to serving Krishna or God. So that means that everyone is not stuck in a certain identification, like a Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Sudra. It depends on not birth, but it depends on one's activity and service. So some people might be born in a very poor family. They might be considered Sudras. Sudras are, people who are regular workers, but they can, if through education, become Brahmanas. But in the Hindu false practice of Hinduism, they say that that's not possible. If you're born a Sudra, you're a Sudra for the rest of your life. So that type of, let's say, rigidness has weakened the whole Sanatana Dharma program. And because of that, many people have left Hinduism, and they convert to Christianity or Islam, or they just remain atheists. Okay, so this Mayavad philosophy, this impersonalism, Kevala Advaita philosophy, and the what you would call cancel culture of impersonalism. And what does that mean, cancel culture of impersonalism? That means that when you take this, when you begin to believe that there is not individuality, it's an illusion. There's only one great soul called Brahman, and the purpose of life is through meditation and performing severe austerities that eventually you can merge into that oneness. This basically ruined the Vedic Dharma. And unless we can understand that, first of all, very few people can even undertake the austerities, severe austerities that some yogis do to merge into the so-called oneness of Brahman. So very few people actually attempt to do it because it's antithetical to who we are. We're individuals. We like to have variety. We want to have happiness. We want to relate to others. We don't want to be in a cave meditating individually or alone and trying to attain some kind of oneness, which is called Brahman. So we see there are very few yogis that actually do that. Okay, so in Krishna consciousness, we have variety. we accept the multiplicity of souls, and we do not have a rigid system of if you're born a Sudra, you're a Sudra for the rest of your life. That's not part of Krishna conscious philosophy. Krishna conscious philosophy is anybody willing to be trained by a genuine Vaishnava can progress to become a first-class Brahmana, and the Brahmanas are not a what you would call elite class. They are, if anything, more humble than than all the classes, see? And they're more merciful, and their purpose is to practice purity of Krishna consciousness, and eventually one comes to even a higher level than a Brahmana, and that is to become a pure devotee of Krishna. Okay, the second false practice that has weakened and almost destroyed Hinduism is the false caste system based on birth rather than based on quality and work. So this was done purposely because the Brahmanas wanted to have their children, or sons, anointed with the same privileges that they have, even if the son was not qualified. So they changed one word in the Vedic knowledge, that is that the qualification to understand the position of a person in Varnashram Dharma is quality and well, they said instead of quality and activity, it was quality and birth. So this destroyed the real meaning of caste, and built this system of caste that is actually prejudicial, and it really turned a lot of people off, and they converted to other religions, or they just stopped being religious. Okay, so number one is the Mayavad philosophy. Number two is this false practice of Hinduism based on the false caste system. Okay, the third point is that has really hurt the practice of Sanatana Dharma is the man gods, the false so-called incarnations masquerading as God. If I made a announcement in the Doordarshan, which is what, the radio or television in India, will the real God stand up? How many people do you think would stand up? Thousands. There's so many man gods, self-declared, in India. It's not only in India. They have the same problem in Christianity. They have the same problem in Islam. They have the same problem in other religions also. People declaring themselves God. So these so-called false incarnations masquerading as God, and then after some time they get caught as complete frauds, has done a lot of damage to the practice of Sanatana Dharma. If a person pretends to be something that they're not, eventually they'll get caught. But what it does is it makes common people lose faith in the so-called pundits and other things like other people like that. A pundit is someone that should be respected. But if you find out that the person is a fraud, it's a shock, and oftentimes people just lose their confidence and don't want to have anything to do with such people. Okay, so we have number one is the impersonal cancel culture, Mayavad philosophy. Number two is the false practice of the Hindu caste system. Rather than basing the caste system on quality and activity, they base it on birth and activity. So if you're born in a Brahmin family, you're automatically a Brahmin the rest of your life. That's a completely false assumption, but that's what has happened, unfortunately. Okay, number three, the man gods, we just discussed. Number four is the performance of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies for material benefits. This is what's going on today on a major basis all over the world, where we have brahmanas performing pujas, not to help people glorify God, but to help people have success in their business, success in, I don't know, marriage, success in this, success in that, all materialistic goals. So this performance of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies for material benefits, as soon as the Brahmana begins his mantras, and at one point he says, repeat after me, mama. Okay. Now, what does mama mean? Mama means that me, right? So instead of saying that this puja is meant to glorify Bhagavan Krishna, what he's saying is that this puja is for the benefit of this person, right? And mama means me. So this is not at all the purpose of doing pujas. The purpose of doing pujas is to glorify God. It's not to help someone's business do better, or help someone's wealth get better, or someone's health get better, etc. So this performance of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies for material benefits is another widespread thing that's going on in the practice of Hinduism. Now, if I say something and you think you want to ask a question or challenge me on it, you can right now, because some people might not agree with what I'm saying, but it's good to have a discussion. Okay, next is the Karma Yoga and Mystic Yoga, or Ashtanga Yoga, adulterated by material desires, such as seeking elevation to the heavenly planets in the material universe for enhanced sense gratification. So there are three levels of, let's say, existence. There's the lowest level are the planets let's say, well, anyway, you have the heavenly planets, the middle planets, like we're living on the middle planet, and the lowest planets, right? And those, and so the idea that one can perform different pujas, or what you would call ritual activities, to attain higher material goals, is an adulteration of pure Krishna consciousness. The purpose of pujas is to glorify God. It's not for elevation to higher planets. It's not for material purposes, and definitely not for enhanced sense gratification. The next point is the false concept that service to mankind is service to God, or Manava Seva is Madhava Seva. Actually, by serving God, you serve humanity. But by serving humanity, you don't necessarily serve God. But most people in India believe that by serving man, you serve God. And people might argue about this, but actually, if you serve Krishna, then you serve all living entities, because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Father of all living entities. Right? But if you serve man, you don't necessarily serve God, because the person you might be serving is a fraud, or not actually a pure person. So, therefore, the idea that Manava Seva is Madhava Seva is wrong. It's Madhava Seva, or by worshiping God, you benefit the society. Okay, then the next point is the idea that all religions are equal and that one can reach God by any path. That's not true. Why? Because, first of all, every person, it has certain flaws. We make mistakes, we're easily illusioned, we have imperfect senses, and we have a cheating propensity. So, therefore, we cannot on our own achieve the perfection of spiritual life. We need help, and that help has to be given by pure devotees. Now, what is actually a pure devotee? A pure devotee is someone who has no material desires. Their only desire is to please Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, pure devotees can be tested to see whether they have any lust or anger or greed, etc. But if you cannot identify any of those bad qualities, and the person is genuinely following the rules and regulations of spiritual life, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no, gossiping, no, not getting unnecessarily angry, and so forth, and then that person has to be respected because of the apparent qualities that they have. And thus they're able to not demand respect, but they command it by their purity. Okay, so this the idea that all religions are equal and that one can reach God by any path. Well, like I said, it's not true, because all paths. So some people think all paths are eventually going back to God, but you cannot go back to Godhead by engaging in sinful activities. You would have to give them all up, and you have to be purified of the desire for sin. One thing is to gradually give up engaging in sins, but that doesn't mean the desire for sins have stopped. The desires for the way that the desires for sins would stop is by engaging full time in devotional service, where you're giving all your attention and all your assets and everything the service of God. And that's a very high level. And one can achieve that level by associating with genuine devotees. And when we say give all your assets to the practice of devotional service, that doesn't mean that you live in a cardboard box and your family is starving. and you stop working and just chant your mantras. It means that everything you have is used in the service of Krishna. So, how to do that? That's called education. That's what we're teaching here. We're teaching how to use everything you have in the service of Krishna. So, if somebody has a car, well, the car can be used to drive to the temple and engage in activities in the temple. It can be used for taking devotees and taking your family out for Sankirtan. But if you use it for going to the movie or going to the nightclub and things like that, then that car is not being used in the service of God. So it's a practical thing. Whatever you have, if you use it in the service of God, then you're not committing any sinful activities, and you're able to use every asset that you have in serving God and glorifying God. Then the idea of also performing ritualistic activities for material benefit is very, let's say, commonly done, not only in Hinduism, but in every religion, where people are more interested in praying to get something for their family or for their health or for this or for that. Now, is it wrong to pray to God for your health? I'm going to say it's not wrong, but you don't have to do that, because God is in your heart as Paramatma, the super soul. He knows more about who you are than you do, so you don't have to specifically pray for Krishna to heal your sickness or heal somebody that you know who is sick. You just pray to glorify Krishna, and without asking for anything in return. And Krishna, when he sees the sincerity of your prayers, he will do everything necessary so that you can live peacefully and come back to him. So this praying for asking something from Krishna, at least it's praying. It's not that it's evil or anything like that, but it's not what you would call the highest level of relationship with the Lord. We shouldn't make Krishna a person who supplies things for our personal sense gratification. We should serve Krishna and supply to him. So, although Krishna owns everything, but when he sees that you take some things that belong to him and you offer it back to him with love and devotion, he becomes very pleased. But when you take something from him and use it for sense gratification, then you get trapped in the cycle of birth and death and karma. So the whole point of taking something that belongs to Krishna. Now, everything belongs to Krishna. And he's the father of everyone. And everything that you see in this world is produced from his potency. So, therefore, everything should be offered first to Krishna. And if he offers things back to you, you should accept it as Krishna's mercy. So, therefore, we see here every day the pujaris offer food and flowers and prayers and so many things to the deity of Krishna, and he offers it back as his prasadam, or his mercy. And then if we partake of that merciful prasadam, we become purified. But if we just eat, we get what you would call all kinds of karmic reactions. Why? Because we're not recognizing the proprietorship of Krishna. our own body belongs to Krishna. Krishna is the closest person to us. He's in our heart as Paramatma. Therefore, everything we do should be to please Krishna, and then Krishna will give us protection, he'll give us knowledge, he'll give us patience, he'll give us the ability to articulate what is actually the real purpose of life. That is not to make a lot of money and spend it on sense gratification, but it's to, if you make a lot of money, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you use that to glorify the Lord and build temples or have feasts and festivals and things like that, that's the right way to spend your money. Srila Prabhupada himself said, the Americans have a lot of money, and I have come to teach them how to use it in Krishna's service. So we should think about that. We should. Napoleon said that money is a good servant and a bad master. So we should learn how to engage money in the service of Krishna. That's the best way to spend it. And what happens is when you do that, things become unlimited. Krishna will bless you with unlimited money and opportunities because he knows you know how to spend it. You spend it to glorify him. Okay, so well, another principle, another thing that is damaging Vedic Dharma is the idea that the materialistic concept of life purporting that the goal of life is to work hard and enjoy sense gratification. Or as we say in English sometimes, I work hard and I play hard. That type of philosophy is very materialistic, very selfish, and it only serves us to go deeper into illusion. And what are you seeing every day? You're seeing the advertisement of this work hard, play hard. Like, for example, you'll see movie stars, and they're dressed really nicely, and they look happy, and they're drinking champagne or this or that, and they're partying. And so that is to entice people to think that, oh, see, I'm not living a glamorous life like these people are. Therefore, I should try and in some way or other emulate them. But look at what's happened to many great movie stars, like Marilyn Monroe. She's a very, very famous movie star and singer and so forth. She committed suicide. And many of these great personalities, so-called great personalities, have miserable lives. Right? So it's better to associate with genuine devotees and learn the principles of Sanatana Dharma. Of course, Dharma means how to act properly, and Sanatana means eternal. So to eternally act properly is called Krishna consciousness, always conscious of Krishna 24 hours a day. Now, is it possible to be conscious of God 24 hours a day? Yes, because there are examples of people who are conscious of something 24 hours a day, just like a person who is interested in making money. Almost 24 hours a day, they're thinking of how to make money. So if they can think 24 hours a day how to make money, that means it's possible to think 24 hours a day how to develop Krishna consciousness and how to please Krishna. They're showing us, they're like a guru showing us that yes, you can meditate on one thing 24 hours a day and still function in life, and so forth. Okay, so this idea that the goal of life is to work hard and enjoy sense gratification, or work hard, play hard, is ruining people's lives, because that's not the purpose of human birth. The purpose of human birth is to understand our relationship with Krishna or God and act in that relationship to please God by our actions. And how do you please God by your actions? It's by glorifying Him with choice poetry or prayers, to offer Krishna nice prasadam, and then He reciprocates by offering it back as prasadam, of course, and thus have this mutual give and take relationship. Now, this relationship with Krishna is done with the help of genuine devotees who teach us how to purely offer prayers, how to purely glorify the Lord, how to purely offer food to the Lord, and so forth. So the whole, let's say, attempt to attain a life of purity is called Krishna consciousness, because we become conscious of Krishna, therefore everything we do will become purified gradually through the desire to please the Lord. Okay, so then the belief that one can understand God through mental speculation, logic, reason, and scientific research. This is impossible. You cannot speculate. Speculation means you don't really know something, so you make something up. And the way you make something up is you say, well, I think, and maybe, and perhaps, and what if you assume that, whenever you hear those words, the person is speculating. They don't really know what they're talking about. Sort of making things up. Okay, then another point that is destroyed, or is destroying Vedic culture and spirituality, is worship of demigods with the misconception that all gods are equal. It's not true that all gods are equal. There are demigods, but they're servants of Krishna. And when you understand that, then you know how to worship demigods. You worship them in the sense that they are servants, just like we worship Srila Prabhupada, right? Why? Because he's completely surrendered, pure devotee of Krishna. So we worship him as a spiritual master. So when you worship a demigod as a spiritual master who is opening the path to go back to Godhead, to become closer to Krishna, that is a proper way. And the improper way is to worship the demigod as a unique god, you see. So we're not against, let's say, worship of the demigods, as long as we understand that they're servants of Krishna. And the demigods also are more pleased when you worship Krishna than themselves. So we offer respect to the demigods, and we offer worship to Krishna. And in that way, we don't make any mistakes. If we worship demigods, then they will give us material assets which only entangle us more in the cycle of birth and death. But if we worship Krishna, then the demigods become very pleased, and they help us come closer to Krishna. Are there demigods? Yes. They're great providers of things that are necessary in life, such as the water, rain and changing of the seasons and the sun and so many things. They're digestion and so many things that they are supplying. They're the supply agents of the Lord. So if we accept these supplies and offer them first to Krishna, and then Krishna offers it back to us, then we become purified. And the demigods become very pleased by our correct behavior. If we take these benefits, food and different things, and not offer it to God or Krishna, then demigods become discouraged and they will create situations of penury or need. And therefore, there are certain areas of the world where there's famine, there's severe weather conditions, there are wars. All that's going on because of sinful activity, where people are ignoring their relationship with Krishna and just engaging in sense gratification. So then the demigods are the supply agents, so they start holding back the supply of things and making life more difficult. Okay, then the false concept. Oh, okay. The other next point is the acceptance of Western pedagogy or atheistic humanism as the teaching method in India and the United States. So the teaching method is based on what's called atheistic humanism, where usually, in the public schools, they outright say we don't talk about God in the school because we want to educate you in what's called humanistic education or atheistic humanism. That is the teaching or pedagogy. That's the way that they're teaching kids now. In other words, they do not start off by saying we must all pray to God. There is a God, and He is the giver of everything, and therefore we should worship Him with love and devotion. They don't talk like that. I mean, I don't know, anyone might object to that, but I don't think so. I mean, when I went to school, when I first went to school, and up to about ninth grade, we had to say the Lord's Prayer every morning. But then the United States government forbade it. And then one morning we come in and the teacher says we don't have to say the prayer. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. And the teacher said we don't have to pray anymore. And a whole bunch of kids said, "Hooray, great!" I was just like a little bit perplexed. I didn't say hooray or anything like that. But we used to say the Lord's Prayer every morning when we went to school, and it was just part of the culture. And then all of a sudden, this culture changed. There's no more words Lord's Prayer, and culture changed also. At that time in the 1960s, in the early 1960s, that's when they changed the laws in the country and saying that you don't have to say the Lord's Prayer. You're not supposed to. And then they had what's called the sexual, let's say, culture that came in, right? And illicit sex became something that was very prominent, and then all kinds of other things came in at that time in the 1960s that severely changed the culture of the United States. and it's continuing up until today. It gets worse and worse. Therefore, it's important that Srila Prabhupada came, uh, from India to the United States to establish Krishna consciousness and give us a chance to actually not get contaminated by all this nonsense that's been proliferated. And on that point, I want to say something else, and then you can ask some questions. That is, that how did Christianity deviate from the Vedic knowledge of God? This is the assumption that Christianity started with the appearance of Jesus Christ, who was definitely the Son of God. He was a pure devotee. And then, but how did Christianity deviate from the pure teachings of Jesus? Well, this is a very interesting subject. After Jesus Christ's disappearance, the theologians tried to understand who he was exactly. Well, you could say he's the Son of God. Yes, that's true. But was he a man, like, a human being that became deified? Or was he someone that came from the spiritual world and came down and manifested himself? So the attempt to understand who he was exactly developed a long period of let's call it searching and speculation to understand who he was exactly. And so in order to understand Jesus, unfortunately, the early Christians started to rely on the philosophy of Aristotle. Now, Aristotle, of course, he was before Jesus Christ, 2,500 years ago. But Aristotle said that there are two types of souls in the world. One is mortal and one is immortal. Then, after that, Augustine, who was a Christian, philosopher, he said, he went a little further and he said, well, if there's two types of souls, then one soul is mortal and the other soul is not mortal. So Aristotle first said, before the Jesus, that there are two types of souls. One is mortal and one is immortal. And then here comes Augustine after Jesus, and he said, well, if there's one soul that's mortal and one soul that's not mortal, that means that it's meant for our use. In other words, Augustine said that he argued that since animals do not possess a soul and do not possess an immortal soul, they are meant for our use, dead or alive. See? Okay. So it was Aristotle that said that the souls of animals are not immortal. And according to him, there are two types of souls, mortal and immortal. So then Augustine goes a little further and he says that since animals do not possess an immortal soul, they're meant for our use, dead or alive. In other words, and you can eat them, basically. So then, therefore, the commandment thou shalt not kill was only applied to humans, and but not to animals. And this became the standard of Christian doctrine, justifying the killing and consumption of animals. And it became the standard of Christian doctrine that animals don't have souls. It's all right to kill them and eat them. Then the idea or the theory of a human soul being created at the moment of conception was also accepted by Aquinas and subsequently became official Catholic doctrine. So this belief that each individual human soul is created at a specific point in time, lives their life, and is then eternally saved or damned, precludes the possibility of reincarnation. By rejecting reincarnation, Augustine and Aquinas departed from the Platonic tradition, making it difficult for subsequent philosophers to comprehend the existence of evil in the world. So we see how over a certain period of time things changed, and all of a sudden now animals don't have souls, therefore you can kill them and eat them, do whatever you want with them, and thou shalt not kill is only referring to human beings and not to animals. And all this became part of Christian doctrine, and it justifies the killing of animals. So today, people consume, only in the United States, 55 trillion animals a year, right? And a lot of those people, or most of those people, are Christians. Then, then the idea given by another Greek philosopher called Origen, was that souls are created. So if you say that souls are created, how can they be immortal? As Krishna tells Arjuna, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So the theory of a human soul being created at the moment of conception was also accepted by Aquinas, who was a 10th century philosopher, Christian, and consequently became official Catholic doctrine that's being, up until today, that's the doctrine of the Catholic Church. This belief that each individual human soul is created at a specific point in time, lives their life, and is then eternally saved or damned, precludes the possibility of reincarnation. By rejecting reincarnation, Augustine and Aquinas departed from the Platonic tradition, making it difficult for subsequent philosophers to comprehend the existence of evil in the world. So you see, even up to today, the question is still there in Christianity and even Judaism and even in Islam. Why is there evil in the world? Say, it's a question that it perplexes people, because if there's a God, then how come there's evil? And does it mean that God is not actually in control? Or maybe it doesn't really exist? So, and the idea that the human soul is created at the moment of conception is a false concept also, that the soul is eternal. It exists before birth in this body, it exists in this body, and it exists after the death of the body. So little by little, the truth about the soul, the truth about the purpose of life, everything was corrupted by speculation of philosophers. So without the concept of the soul's possibility of transmigration, then you cannot reconcile what's called divine justice. Because someone can be born crippled and blind, and someone can be born, healthy and very, let's say, attractive. And if you say you only live once, and you if you go to if you are not saved by believing in Jesus, you go to hell forever. And which is, this is what the Christians say today, right? And they try and scare you. They say, well, if you're following a false religion in Hinduism, and you have to reject that and become a Christian, otherwise you're going to hell. By the way, the concept of hell is different than in Christianity than in traditional Vedic philosophy, because hell is a place, it exists, but once you go there, the Christians say you can never come back. But that's not Vedic knowledge. The Vedas say that you can go to hell, but you can still become Krishna conscious even in hell, because saintly people like Narada Muni will come there and preach to you, and you can come back again. And there's reincarnation. You don't just live once. Because the soul is immortal, you can take birth over and over again in the material world, or you can develop Krishna consciousness and go back to the spiritual world. So you see, there's so many false ideas that have entered into the minds of people through the false philosophies of Christian speculators, and it turns people off. People who are intelligent, they look at it, they hear it, and they say, I don't want to have anything to do with this. You're saying, okay, so therefore it says that the belief that that each individual human soul is created and at a specific point in time, lives their life, and is then eternally saved or damned, precludes the possibility of reincarnation. By rejecting reincarnation, Augustine and Aquinas departed from the Platonic tradition, making it difficult for subsequent philosophers to comprehend the existence of evil in the world. Yeah, because if you say you only live once, and at the moment of death you're going to be judged, and the judgment can be eternal, it's very mean. It's very let's say brutal reality, and where is the mercy of God if well, let's say you're not even born a Christian. You're born in China, or you're born in Mongolia or somewhere, and you're not a Christian. That means you're finished according to their philosophy, and that's why the Christians they use the scare tactics with Hindus. They say, well, if you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell, and your religion is a false religion. Say, and I'm sure you've heard that, and these are false narratives. It's not true. They don't believe in reincarnation. They don't believe that you can, even if you go to hell, you can come back because of saintly people like Narada Muni. They say it's impossible to come back from hell. That's their philosophy. And they reject the idea that you can have many lives. If you can be born and you can die and then take birth again. They reject that. Okay, so Without the concept of the soul's transmigration, how can we reconcile divine justice? How do we account for fortune and misfortune? Why is one person pious, knowledgeable, beautiful, or wealthy, while another is impious, ignorant, deformed, or poor? Why is one person eternally saved and another eternally damned, based on one's finite lifetime? Why is God seemingly arbitrary and merciless? Western philosophers like Mill and Dewey or Sartre have struggled with these questions since they have rejected the possibilities of transmigration and karma. They argue that the existence of evil suggests that either God's power is limited, or he is not entirely good, or he does not exist at all. So this is where we stand today, as far as Christianity and Judaism and even Islam. Those are the Abrahamic religions. There's not a real clear understanding of reincarnation. There's not a clear understanding of the idea that you can go to hell and still be saved. See? And anyone who's a little bit intelligent understands this, and they're like put off by it. And then, but then, what is the truth? That's the question. Well, the truth is that the soul is eternal. The truth is that God is not a mean person that's going to send you to hell forever, just because in this lifetime you sinned. You might go to hell, but you're not eternally damned. There's always a chance to be saved by the mercy of saintly people like Narada Muni and other great saints. And there's no question of your soul being killed or forced to suffer eternally because of sins that you did in one lifetime. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. If you have any questions or comments, you can make them. Yes. Well, you're saying pure devotees. Why is a pure devotee tested? Well, Haridas Thakur was tested very severely. Twice. First time was this terrible person hired a prostitute to make him fall down, and he was able to transform her into a devotee. Right? Then Maya Devi herself came to make Haridas Thakur fall down. So he was tested twice. Not only the first one, but the second one was Maya Devi herself came and tried to make him fall down. And she finally became a devotee of Haridas Thakur and took up charge chanting Hare Krishna. So, whenever a devotee is tested, if the devotee is actually potent, the test is actually to show people that if one is completely surrendered to Krishna, they'll be protected by the Lord. And if they're not completely surrendered to Krishna, then they're going to fall down. So, basically, you're by the test, you separate the men from the boys, let's say. And why not? Why not? Person should be tested, right? Because person can be a imposter for many years, and keep people can be fooled, and before they realize that the person was nonsense. So it's better that. Well, first of all, you're saying Krishna is going to test you, right? I don't think you have been tested by Krishna, but the test is to of great devotees like Haridas Thakur and others is to help us understand that by surrendering ourselves to following like Srila Prabhupada, a pure devotee, we're protected by the Lord. Right? So we're not afraid of those tests because we have complete confidence in Srila Prabhupada and His mercy and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For people who don't have like a guru or a community of devotees that they can associate with, they will almost in every condition fail the test. Everyone's going to be tested. Everyone is tested, whether a devotee or not devotee. But for devotees, the test gets harder and harder. And if you can pass those tests, then you become a pure devotee. So that's the reason why you're being tested, to see how much love and devotion you have for the Lord and how much you're willing to sacrifice to please the Lord. So, Haridas Thakur is severely tested, and many other devotees are sometimes severely tested, and if they just take complete shelter of the holy name and do not engage in any illicit activities, they're protected. They pass the test. See? So it's a way of separating the imposters from the real devotees. See? And that's good. That's good. We should be we should not be afraid of being tested. And we're not going to all, because you're chanting Hare Krishna doesn't mean that, everything's rosy and nice and you're going to be successful in everything you do. No, there's going to be ups and downs. And during the ups, it's easy to be a devotee. But in the down period, that's when you're actually tested to see if you're a sincere devotee. So actually we shouldn't be afraid of the test. We should, because if we have complete faith in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and complete faith in Prabhupada and Krishna, then we're not afraid of the test. In fact, we accept it as the mercy of the Lord. So sometimes the test is in the form of sickness. Sometimes it's in the form of, material, like failure, getting, your business goes bankrupt or something like that. Sometimes it's in the form of family members dying and so forth. And, you said, well, I prayed so hard to Krishna that my father not die, and then he died, and now I don't believe in God anymore. So the test is to separate the real devotees from devotees who have very, let's say, fragile faith. Now, if there is a test, if you are experiencing a test, then you should take shelter of strong devotees or very advanced devotees. And they will give you the solace and the understanding of how to tolerate the test. Right? So we should not be afraid, or we should not be angry. We should not be aloof. We should accept any situation in life as the mercy of Krishna. And if it's a difficult test, then we should take more shelter in chanting and associating with more advanced devotees. And you'll go through it, and Krishna will protect you. So there's no reason to be afraid of this so-called test. And everyone's going to be tested. Everybody.
For those who are in Grihastha, they have more areas to get tested. Comparison to those who are in sannyasi or brahmachari, they don't have it many because we are so much associated with the family, health, financial, so many things we have to think about. So our areas to getting tested are so many.
So you want to become a nun or something, or not be tested?
That is more easier, right?
Nuns are tested also, believe me. No, the point is that we're not living in a nice place. We're living in the material world. We have a material body covering our eternal soul. And unless we take complete shelter of Krishna and pray sincerely every day by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra nicely, we're not going to be able to, pass any test. So we have everything necessary to pass the tests of life, especially with the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And temple and devotees and deities and so forth. We have everything necessary to pass those tests. Now, are you going to realize that? That's the question. When you think, oh, I'm alone, nobody likes me, and nobody's helping me, and my husband doesn't care, this one doesn't care, all of that is Maya. Maya is playing games in your mind, But on the other hand, if you count your blessings, the blessings is you're living very close to the temple. You can just walk to the temple, and you can engage in all kinds of nice activities in the temple. And there's many devotees and beautiful deities. And there's the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and there's Sankirtan. So, you have more things to be grateful for than to be worried about. So you should always count your blessings rather than focus on negative things. People who focus on negative things are miserable. People who focus on their blessings are happy. So we have much more blessings than misery here. I mean, there are other places in the world where there's real misery. Huh? Yeah, for example, horrible. Yeah, that's because of karma. I have nothing against the people of Gaza, but obviously they have very bad karma, and there are other places in the world also. But even in the United States, there are places with very, very bad karma. We're like in Vaikuntha here, yes, right? So we should count our blessings and share them with others, and I mean, when you chant Hare Krishna sincerely, most of your problems go away anyway, and you have a peaceful life. Even if it's not peaceful and you're tested, again, you can get through the test by chanting and not losing your faith in Krishna. Right? So we should not be afraid of any test. You see. Because Krishna's in your heart and he can see and hear your sincerity of desire to please him, and then he's promising Kunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranasyati, declare loudly, Arjuna, that my devotee will never perish. He's promising. So you just be a good devotee, you're not going to have a problem. Kunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranasyati. That's the verse. You memorize this verse. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you from Maharaji. I have a two question. Sorry, there's any mistake in my question. My first question is how to ask something from Krishna.
How to ask something from Krishna. Yeah.
And my
You
second
begin by Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Please, Lord Krishna, please, Srimati Radharani, the most merciful deity, protect me so that I can always remain your servant.
And my second question is that many times there are many obstacles just in chanting. How to reduce them?
Oh, say that again.
Many times there are many obstacles in chanting, just in chanting. So how to reduce them?
By chanting.
If we're doing chanting, during whole day there's a many obstacles arises.
Then go to bed earlier at night. Go to bed earlier at night and wake up earlier in the morning. That's the problem. See, if you don't go to bed early at night, like let's say 9 o'clock, and wake up 3 o'clock, then it's harder to chant your rounds. But if you get used to going to bed early and waking up early, it's easy to chant your rounds. Okay? So you have to be regulated in your life, regulated. Not stay up 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, not watching television, not talking to somebody, 9 o'clock comes, right away, go to bed. That way you'll be able to wake up, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning and chant your rounds. Be very peaceful. Okay? Haribol.
Maharaj, we are the family, so I can awake at 3 a.m. and sleep at 9 p.m. But all three members management was just many times as a tough because I want to sleep, but other don't want to sleep. But other want to sleep, I don't want to sleep. So it's a very tough management. If you do the chanting, my kid was there, come sleep with me. So that was many times so horrible. So I took the oath that first I will finish the rounds, then I will drink the water. So sometimes it creates a such type of obstacles during the chanting. So how to reduce them?
Well, first of all, you wanted to have a child. You were not forced to have a child, right? So, and the child is going to grow up. He's not going to be a child forever. And one of these days he'll even leave. He'll get married and leave. Then you can chant 24 hours a day. So just be patient. Just be patient. You're not in a position where for your whole life you're going to have to change diapers and take someone to school and bring them back from the school and feed them. And it's only going to last a few years. That's all. And during that time, you have to be very regulated as much as you can. Chant your rounds. So, no situation is eternal in the material world. Everything's changing. So, if you, and by the way, you only have one child. My wife and I, we had 7 kids. Right? But they all grew up, and they're all good. There was sometimes this one was in trouble or that wasn't in trouble, but they all eventually turned out to be good kids. So you have to be very patient. But you only have one kid, so that's nothing. That's like, if you have more kids, that's okay. But right now you only have one kid, so don't worry. He's gonna grow up very quickly, and you know, you won't have that problem anymore. Yeah, Haribol. Any other questions? So, Prabhuji, you had a question? Okay, so I'm trying to understand your question. Uh, there's there's oneness and duality, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. Oneness means that you agree with Krishna, and duality means that you might not agree with Krishna. So actually, we focus on oneness, to agree with Krishna. In another way, uh, you're not Krishna. Krishna is a unique person, and you are his eternal servant. So there's duality. Right? But there's oneness because you agree with everything Krishna says. So you're experiencing at the same time oneness and duality. Okay? That's your answer. There's a problem if you don't agree with Krishna. Okay? And then there's going to be a problem. But if you agree with Krishna, at the same time, you understand that you're not Krishna, and Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you're his eternal servant, then there's no problem. There's oneness and duality. Haribol. Any other questions? Okay, well, we want everyone to take rest early so they can wake up early and chant Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Haribol, 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 Haribol. That's okay, that's okay.